You're very much invited to start in any seated position. You feel comfortable. You can sit on the pillow or on the ground, cross-legged or otherwise. Just taking a moment to find the center, finding kind of the space where you can feel where your center is. Maybe moving a little bit side to side, back and forth, or adding few circles, circular movements. Tuning by that your body. And then slowly, gradually, we can start arriving where we have this sense of center, some equal feeling between left and right, front and back. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you can imagine your sitting bones rooting down, and then we can lengthen up through the crown of the head. Wonderful. Let's take a moment to feel the breath. And if that helps, or if that is useful for you, you can even place one palm on the chest, the other on the belly to feel the breath in your palms. So you can just notice the slight expansion as we inhale and then softening as we exhale. You can start deepening the breath, creating more spaciousness with inhalation and then maybe dropping even a little more as we exhale. Feel free to add the cleansing breath, breathing out through your mouth or sighing out loud. And imagine with each inhalation you are growing a millimeter taller, and with each exhalation you are softening a little more to the ground. So it's like kind of extension and small contraction or coming back to the center. And we can continue this subtle movement, continuing also with the arms. So with inhalation, we can open the arms like the cactus, and with exhalation, we can place them back. So we can open and maybe switching the direction, like the other palm on the heart, the other palm on the belly. So just opening the chest and then returning back to the center. Again, opening, stretching out, and then coming back to the sense of touch. Nice. Let's do two more if you can. Opening and softening. And maybe last one, and we can stretch out to the sides. You can add some movement for the hands, fingers, while shoulders are still rather down. Wonderful. And then we can release, soften. You can loosen from the shoulders all the way to the fingertips. Very good. And we can release our arms, and you can add some movement to the head and neck. You can start rolling your head. It can be half circles, it can be full circles. Slowly moving the head, allowing the muscles, the backside of the neck and the trapezius muscle to soften a little bit. Few more. And it's up to you if you have your eyes closed or if you soften your gaze. And then slowly from here we can return back to the center, and let's interlace the fingers behind our head. Elbows point outwards, shoulders down from our ears, and we can add the movement of the whole spine, opening the chest as we inhale, and then we can round the spine, bring the chin to the chest as we exhale. Couple of times, kind of flowing between these two polarities, like opening, expanding, and then softening into the chest. Wonderful. And again, you can choose the range of motion, the intensity with which we are stretching. Opening and then stretching the back side of the neck. You might feel it all the way to the lower back. Maybe one more, and then as you inhale, you can extend the arms overhead. We can add few wrist movements. Fingers, wrists, beautiful, and we can continue to the side stretch. You can use one palm as the support from under, the other arm can arch overhead. You can also support your head from under if the neck would need it. For a couple of breaths. And feel free to experiment with the actual position of your head and neck. You can like drop the head or look down for a few moments. Slowly here, breathing deep. Wonderful. And then let's slowly come back to the center, and the arm that was on the top can now land over the ear. We can stretch a little more the side of the neck, and if you find it useful, you can rotate the lower arm. So a few times rotating in the shoulder joint, and you might feel sometimes we can meet a little more tension or meet this kind of trigger point where you feel there is more intensity, so you can pause there for a few breaths and then maybe continue the movement. And these are sometimes the tendons of the trapezius that are overloaded. Nice. And slowly we can release, we can come back to the center, and you can add few more simple head movements, half circles or full circles. Just to integrate, we can meet back on the center, and with inhalation, let's open up again. We can add some movement for the fingers, for the wrist. If you want, a few times you can activate the fist and extend the fingers. Activating. Shoulders are down from our ears, and then let's continue with the side stretch to the opposite direction than previously, sending few deeper breaths to the rib cage or to the side of the body. Again, possibly supporting the head from under. Breathing deep. Wonderful. Maybe one more deep breath, and then we are slowly returning back to the center. The palm can land over the ear, and again, if that feels right, you can add some rotation for the lower arm. And again, pausing in the moment that you might feel the stretch is there, maybe more intensely. Good breaths. And then we can release, and but a few more integrative movements for the neck muscles, then letting the head roll in half circles or full circles. Yes. And then as ready, let's return back to the center. We can open our arms now to the wide, and maybe you can even add few like circles to activate the muscles around the shoulder blades while the shoulders stay low down from the ears. Wonderful. Maybe one more like this, and then we can cross the arms, either hugging our own shoulders or even entering the kind of eagle arms. And we can stay here static, or if you like, we can add few bowing movements, like opening the chest up and folding forwards. And this can also address different muscles of our back, outer shoulders, possibly. And maybe also here we can move in the rhythm of the breath. Maybe one more. Just notice which arm is on the top, which arm is on the bottom. We can again open the arms wide and maybe adding few circles. You can also try other direction. Kind of opening wide and activating a little bit the muscles around the shoulders. Nice. Maybe one more breath and then let's cross the arms the other way than previously. You can hug your shoulders or interlace the forearms. And again, we can stay here static, breathing through, or you can add few bowing movements. Opening the chest slightly and then folding forwards. And again, you can invite some curiosity to notice where you feel the stretch, where you feel something happening in the body, which muscles maybe can soften more, which means we don't need. If you can, one more. Nice. And then one more time, just stretching out. You can maybe add few wrist circles, just opening the chest, engaging the shoulders, and then we can soften again, shaking out. Wonderful.